Good morning and welcome to Chessington World of Adventures. We are at the park today to experience scares, frights. It's Halloween time here. Halloween is finally upon us. And Chessington.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feeling it?
Yeah.
What are you feeling today?
I don't really know.
No, so sadly Cody has a concussion. So we're taking a slightly different route to Kurt because we're not going to be able to go on Dragon's Fury, which we see here. We're not going to be able to go on Vampire. I might go on it later. But he, bless him, can't go on it. So we're going to take a very different route around the park. But it's Halloween, so the idea is today is that we've come to experience the Halloween attractions. That includes the brand new Spider Maze. Yep. And you're going to brave Creepy Caves.
Maybe.
He's going to brave Creepy Caves. You've seen it before on video. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. So it's 5 to 10 in the morning. There's a lot of big queue up there, but because obviously we're not going on the big rides, we're not in the big queue. Kurt's up there waiting to get on Dragon's Fury, so that's all down to him today. And yeah, we kind of want to soak in the atmosphere. Obviously the park have announced that Ramesses Revenge will 100% be closing at the end of the season, which is what we said. In addition, there's changes coming to Toadie's Cars. So we're actually going to go on Toadie's Cars because we feel that that will close at the end of this season, also for the new log flume to come in next year. So yeah, quite a lot to do. And we want to check out the live show because the Halloween live show last year was incredible. Loved the live show last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
Loved the live show. So we want to check that out as well. So stay with us. Remember, like and subscribe. We've got plenty of Halloween coming over this Halloween period, this October month before the theme parks wind down for our close. So let's go and do a ride.
Yeah.
Let's head to Toadie's. Haunted Halloween Live.
Yeah.
We're definitely looking forward to that, aren't we?
Yep.
So that was us on Toadie's Crazy Cars there, which as we know is going to be shutting imminently. Not entirely sure when, but I would imagine it will be this season as well. It's a bit overgrown, isn't it? There's not a lot going on. However, we do have an actual sign, Cody.
Sign.
So of course we did say a month or so back, and we came back on our last vlogs for Ride Ramesses Revenge especially, that it's going to be going.
Yep.
Game over for the old girl. So will they leave it empty for a year? I can't imagine they will. I would imagine that it will start straight away and getting the new drop tower in. You know, get the drop tower done here, get the log flume put in over there, and suddenly it's going to look really, really good. So yeah, I'm disappointed they're losing the only ride that goes upside down in the park, but fingers crossed.
video where we do a minimum of 15 people set ride. Therefore, if you do the ride, it's an amount of
It's 15 people. The good news is the new ride only holds 16, so won't have that problem next year.
Nope.
But yeah, Ramsey's Revenge. I'm going to try and sneak a ride on there today. I'm going to try and sneak a ride on it. I don't know. Why can't we go down there?
No one knows.
No one knows. So we're going to give Toon Blaster a bash this morning. No, so it is supposed to absolutely piss it down with rain today, like really, really bad. So I expect this ride to get heaving very, very shortly. So we're going to take the early route to come on here. It's one that Cody can go on. It's not going to be jolting around or anything like that, so it's not going to kind of hinder his concussion. So yeah, we're going to go on this one now. I think this extended queue line will be open later. But you know, people have looked at the weather forecast today, which is supposed to be rain between 10 and 4, continuously, sort of 70–80%. Might be a chance that people don't come. We might have a quieter day. Howloween live show, there's one we want to do. That's at 1:15, 2:15. And we still need to find the maze. We think Spyders is where...
Curse of the Lost Tomb.
Yeah, Curse of the Lost Tomb was. But we're not 100% sure. We're not 100% sure. We're also not 100% sure if the new maze is... sorry, the old maze, the Creepy Caves, is free and then you just pay for the extreme. There's very little details on Chessington website this year to kind of tell us. So we do need to have a little look around and just trying to decide what we're doing, when we're doing it, how much it's going to cost us. Got some vampire fast track for later because I don't want to leave Cody too long on his own with Kurt. But yeah, this is where you need to be. Bang your head then, will ya? Toon Blaster it is. Score ever on Toon Blaster?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
23,000.
23,000. I got 49,775, and it didn't work. We were going to give it a lot of credit because when we got to it, all the cars actually worked. There were no tape, there were none of them down. It might be the first time I've seen that this season, and we've only got 2 weeks left of the season. But then the targets didn't start working until we were at the top of the hill. So yeah, there's some real sound issues in there. I mean, there were sound issues anyway at the top bit where the kind of tune bit was afterwards, and it's just on a 5-second loop. It starts, clicks out, tries starting again, clicks out. I really hope that ride gets some much needed TLC. It seems to have a lot of TLC and seems to come out worse somehow every single season. Fingers crossed it has some TLC. You may have noticed as we've walked around that not a lot of Halloween decorations around. There's some at the entrance, but not a lot around. We can do Safari, can't we, Cod? Go. So this is where we're going to go. Safari. But yeah, not an awful lot of Halloween decorations around. Not an awful lot. Had the big pumpkin at the entrance. We'll show you that later. That's usually a big orange one, so you can have your photo taken in, get your kids in there, have your photo taken. I took one of Cody earlier. It's now green, which I quite like. I quite like the fact it's green. It's nice to have a little bit of a change, a little bit of a shake-up. There's a few banners, there's a few of the webs over. Be interesting what they've done with Room on a Broom, the front of Burnt Stub Mansion, because I'm not overly sure whether or not they're allowed to kind of really decorate it up because of the theme of the ride anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what they've done down there. And yeah, kind of around the park, you know, we were expecting a few more pumpkin patches, weren't we? Nothing around here at all. You wouldn't think it was Halloween, to be honest with you. But fingers crossed the maze is like a hope up for it, because we really enjoyed Curse of the Lost Tomb. So Spiders has got a lot to hype up to, and Creepy Caves, if they've toned it down because it's free and open during the day, I will not be pleased, because I can't stay tonight for the extreme version. If I feel it's been toned down, I'll have to come back and do the extreme version another time. But Safari first.
Yep.
Then we need to find out where the mazes are.
Okay, researchers, our satellite show should be close to seeing some giraffe, or to use their scientific name, Camelopardus. They got that name because they look like a cross between a camel and a leopard. So put the two together and you get Camelopardus. Now look closely. Take a note of how many animals you can see, so we can document the number in this week. We think giraffes are some of the most amazing creatures on the planet. They can live for up to 25 years in the wild. They can grow as tall as 6 meters, that's 18 feet. Those long legs help them run at speeds of up to 35 miles an hour. That's nearly as fast as a truck. Their long necks allow them to reach
Oh, it's a great view, it's actually.
There's always plenty for them to eat as no other animals can reach them. Did you know giraffes sleep for no more than 5 minutes at a time, and they've never been seen mating either.
enjoy a bit of safari?
Yes.
So that was safari. That's filmed on my phone, that was, because for some reason when I got on with the GoPro, which is firmly strapped to my hand, you know, safely, so we don't lose it, drop it, break it, costs a lot of money. I'm told point blank, no GoPros and no hand straps for the GoPros, which is strange because safari is one of the only rides you can actually film on, slash take pictures on. But it's all right for me to get my phone out, which I can't secure in any way, shape or form, which I have to hold on to quite tightly to film and take photos, just all of a sudden. So I have to say that's rather annoyed me slightly, because that's just stupid, absolute stupid. I'm not sitting on Vampire, we don't ever take our you know, cameras or anything on any of the big rides because we're not allowed to do that here. But safari, I like to take the images and the videos on, you know, my high quality camera as I go around of the animals, which we're allowed to do. The announcements even say make sure you're securely fastened your cameras, which I did, then couldn't do. So yeah, a little bit annoyed about that. But he seemed to like his announcements, he seemed to like talking through the microphone a lot for no apparent reason. So yeah, really frustrating. One thing to notice on there, get past these, one thing to notice on there is they've put massive metal gates at the right at the start bit, which they obviously shut at night, and then just after the cave as well, which weren't there last time we came. So I don't know what's happened, I don't know why suddenly they've decided that's something they need to do. But yeah, guess they locked at night, so they look proper sturdy ones as well, not kind of like, you know, these little kind of flinty gate things, proper big metal ones. But yeah, obviously something they're doing now to lock that up at night. But it was a good ride, all the animals were out, weren't they?
Yep.
Which is good, we got to see the giraffes, and you'll see by the footage that he did stop in a really weird place as well, because, you know, we went past the giraffe that was on the left and the right, we'd have got some lovely side views, there are some zebras there, and where we stopped I was just looking at a giraffe's arse. Basically, couldn't see anything else. So yeah, weird ride, nice to see the animals, nice to see them out, but no idea what they're playing at, absolutely no idea. I'm really unhappy about that as well, but, you know, because we like to get some footage, we keep the footage as well, don't we? We look back at the footage, as well as share it with you guys. But there we go, we're gonna move on. Curtis just texted me, because he's queuing for Cobra, that the Spyders Maze is indeed up by Curse of the Lost Tomb, so we know where that is. So we're gonna walk around the bottom end here now. We're still struggling to find Halloween decoration.
It's nowhere.
It's just nowhere, is it? Just doesn't feel very Halloweeny, but I'm hoping once we get down to the other entrance, we're gonna start feeling a bit Halloweeny. And yeah, we're gonna have a look at Trick or Treat Wood.
Yep.
Which, as someone pointed out, we clearly missed last year because we didn't see the spiders in there. So we are going to do Trick or Treat Wood this year. He's thrilled about that. And of course have a look at Creepy Caves Unearthed as well, because I should be really unhappy if they've toned that down and it's got a 40-50 minute queue. But we'll go and have a look. Oh, look, skeletons.
Oh my god. Something Halloween.
It's theming, people.
At least it's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Somewhere.
Let's walk around to the entrance. So as we approach the entrance, one thing you will hear is the music. Music sounds quite good actually.
Yeah.
Quite impressed with the music, but yeah, I mean, we're used to like 50 to 100 pumpkins being kind of around here. There's just nothing here.
Two.
These are plastic ones. I know the real ones can go mouldy over time, but come on now. We've got that at the back. Should have the sign round here, I think I can see.
I need to count the pumpkins.
A few spiders. It's just...
Not much thing.
yeah. Been a bit underwhelmed by it all, to be honest. We'll get some pictures. Just been a bit underwhelmed by it all. Really thought this would be like, really done up well.
The Christmas one looked way better than this.
Yeah, Christmas did look way better. However, we can see some decoration on the front of, sort of on the side, not on the front so much, but on the side of the room on a broom with the spider as well. Got a new coffin around here. I don't remember seeing the coffin last year, so that looks new. I like all the pumpkins, I really do. I've done the hut over there, that's something different. So this remains complete wasted space. Thought maybe we might get a room on a broom story time down here, which I think we had last year, but not getting that either. Music's good though. More like Christmas, those lights, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, a little underwhelmed by it, but oh well. Have to see what the mazes are like, won't we? I do love the decoration. I love the decoration. You know, even Fort Parker's got quite a lot of decoration. Of course, the outside and the mazes are really well themed, where, again, I'm not expecting here to have much theme. You know, it's day 2 and all these have already fallen over. Oh well, oh well. So we have a map. We have a map. Howloween. Move 2019, Spyders. So it doesn't actually say that we need to pay for Creepy Caves Unearthed this year, which is actually quite worrying, in my view. It's a little bit worrying. Trick or treat would, even spookier after dark. Again,
What it did last year.
it does. So we've got some new theming around here. It does just look a bit like Christmas though.
Yeah. Like what the pumpkins.
This is quite nice actually, I quite like this. I quite like this. So we are going to go through it this year. As I said, we're not allowed to film in anything that I'm aware. We're not allowed to film in anything this year. So we'll give you our review straight afterwards. As I said, we can get quite a lot of footage from this because there's not a lot. They've got the tree in the middle. You can see a bit of it from the other side. In terms of creepy caves and obviously spiders, we're not going to be able to film in there, but we will give our review as soon as we get off. I'm quite looking forward to it. This looks a lot better, actually. It does look a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We'll head up to Creepy Caves now, thinking have a look at Creepy Caves.
I don't let you see much.
Now, of course, this is used for the Christmas event as well, so it does get a bit mixed sometimes. And nice little lights. They look quite nice tonight. Giving it a bat rating of 1. It's been stuck over. I think it had a bat rating of 0. We probably won't stay till it's dark tonight because we're going to get on the rides quite quickly, bearing in mind poor old Cody here can't go on the ride. So we just kind of want to get the mazes done and dusted, get a few rides in. This is probably our last trip to Chessington, I would argue, until Christmas. What goodies do you think you're going to get? Nice healthy bar. They were disgusting, they were revolting. And of course with the other 2 mazes it doesn't really matter either, to be honest, if we do them in day or night because they're both enclosed. So not too worried about that. Just had a look at the map actually, interestingly. Black Buccaneer has been removed from the map. And it actually it seems to have Sea Storm sort of more an adventure point than what it does in Pirates Cove. It's just sort of got a picture of Pirates Cove and a big empty space. And that's it. And it's Creepy Caves. Now hopefully, because it is free this year, people aren't stupid enough to bring their small children in here. Because he's a little bit scary. In fact, when you compare it to some of Fort Park's last year's, most of Fort Park's last year's, this was more scary. Not this year, but last year certainly. So yeah, this is Creepy Caves. But oddly enough, when we seem to queue for these mazes at like 12 o'clock, it's very little queue. Where people seem to go to Fort Park for the Fright Nights activities, they don't seem to come here for it. So fingers crossed we can get on and off really quickly. They've not gone with the fake barbed wire this year. After people were complaining last year without touching it or going anywhere near it that it was real and their kid was going to get cut. That was kind of, you know, a bit silly, to be honest, that people were doing that, but they decided not to go with that this year and they've gone for the standard barriers with a little bit of theme on. So you're going in today, yeah?
No.
You said yeah?
No.
You said yeah?
No.
He's going in today.
No.
Better? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Now that is nice. That is a lovely touch, that is. Very simple. It's not environmentally damaging. A lovely touch. And although we don't have the big tree here this year, we do have some nice little little pumpkin people. Hey, you've found a half a pot badge.
Oh, I've got that.
Stick it in your pocket.
Oh, no.
We do have a pumpkin people. These are quite scary actually. I quite like the look of these. Look at these, look. This is nice. This is a nice touch. I like these. Got Spider in the middle. Obviously the focus on the spiders. We like that. Shop's had a little bit of decoration, not an awful lot to be fair, but a little bit of decoration. But yeah, I like that. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice touch. I still think it's a bit underwhelming at the entrance, and arguably still a bit underwhelming overall. And coincidentally, ride times today, Fury's got 60 minutes. Everything else is nearly sort of walk on. River Broom still doesn't work. It's been open all year. I have no idea why Cube Board doesn't work. Rattlesnake 30, Scorpion Express is walk on, Monkey Swinger walk on, Sea Storm walk on, can see that here. All walk on, Treetop Hoppers. Vampire's only got 15 minutes, so it's a 7 o'clock close today. It's a bit of a shame it's not later. It's a bit of a shame they can't stretch to 8 o'clock. You know, 7 o'clock is a summer thing. The clocks haven't gone back yet, so 7 o'clock arguably won't be dark. Won't quite be dark, which is a real shame. I guess on a really busy day, you can join the Vampire queue at sort of 5 to 7. You'll probably get on it when it's dark, but yeah, it's a real shame. I've said Black Buccaneer's been taken off the map, but we're going to head down to Gruffalo. You can go on Gruffalo. He can go on Gruffalo. Gruffalo. This is Bear Grylls Adventure now. Hang for 2 minutes. Bear Grylls. I mean, talk about milking. Talk about milking it slightly. Milking it. It's a nice, got some more spiders around. Like a bit of spiders. Oh, let's get out of there. So that was Gruffalo. We didn't take on board Gruffalo today, to be fair. It's not very busy. We're probably waiting about 10 minutes though, not the 5 advertised. Inside everything's working apart from the mist. The mist machine at the end actually seems to have completely gone. Can't even see the actual machine. Just seems to have gone. As you can see, the time has come for rain, Cody, which is never a good thing. There's no one on the front row. Huh. Black Buccaneer still sits here dead. As we said, it's not on the map for this year. You know, next year's going to be really interesting because, you know, the park have got to compete with Portland's Park next year. You know, rides like this, stable rides like this, that I have to say, I think pirate ships are quite simple in terms of what they are. It should be open, and you can actually see the supports. They seem to have been lifted up because they were laying flat on the ground. And they're all in there.
Whoa.
But that is Black Buccaneer. It's got a bit of rust on it. No, just go over, shall we? Show you that way. It's probably a bit easier. Poor thing. Do you think it'll come back? Huh?
No.
Well,
I reckon that will get replaced for 2021.
He's not very optimistic about that. He's not very optimistic at all. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, it's a really simple ride, and it just should be working. I'm sorry, it's a pirate ship. And you know, to be fair, Blade as well at Alton Towers has been ripped out already. You know, it's like Alton Towers went, got 2 flat rides working. We'll quickly script that out. But yeah, it does look a bit sorry for itself this year. That was after the boat had a big refurbish as well, and obviously supports had a big refurbish. There was more of a problem found. And I understand that, but you know, a Huss is still you should be able to get Huss parts. I understand they can be quite difficult to deal with, but I just think that should have been dealt with, should have been done. And it's obviously the same problem which Alton Towers are having this year as well. Beach is popular. It's gone from organic to serving pizza and ice cream. Probably tells you how successful that was over the summer. We're going to go up now and have a look at the Spyders area, the maze, aren't we?
Yep.
And it's not long now, it's about 11:30, so it's not long till we start queuing for Spyders. It is the first maze we want to do, it's definitely one we want to go in. And yeah, really looking forward to it after Curse of Lost Tomb, to be honest with you. Really looking forward to it. But the beach, yeah, no love for the beach, I'm afraid. So it seems like this is the Spyders. So it's a 2-bat rating. You and your family must work with the SAS Secret Service to help, I wonder what they used to say, the infestation of gigantula spiders who are causing mayhem at the theme park. 8 legs and 8 eyes. It is. I wonder what those blank marks are, because they really don't make sense to be put more words in it.
No.
Got to be the stealthiest of spies. Frightening moments, atmospheres, not recommended for spies with a nervous disposition. That's not you, is it? No, it's not. So, Spyders, Untangle the Web of Lies. Opening in about half hour's time. Looking forward to it?
Yep.
You didn't mind Curse of the Lost Tomb, did you? No. And they have actually made a little bit more effort with this after saying they didn't really make an effort at the outside. They've actually made a little bit more effort with this. Looks a little bit better. But of course, it was only 3 weeks ago we were here and that was still a restaurant. So I wonder if they build it off site or whether they just kind of wing it as they go. Would be really nice to know, actually. You can still go around there and play the crane machines if you want to. But yeah, Spyders. That's our next stop. £2 now to feed the birds. You get a tiny little bowl. I think they're getting food. They think they're getting food, Cody.
Right, do you want to go, Scarlett?
Right. Go on where the food is. Oh, going over our head. Oh, there's one that. No idea what he's eating. What's he eating? No idea either. He's eating wood. He's eating wood.
Yummy.
I like a bit of wood. Yeah. You're a scruffy, noisy one, aren't you? Keep your arm out.
Put your hand out.
No, they weren't there now.
Cool food.
The food, yeah. The pigeons are loving it. I still don't understand how the pigeons get in and the lorikeets don't get out. I've never quite worked that one out. It's lovely to see them. Lovely to see them out. It's starting to rain, isn't it? But it's Spyders time. Now, we didn't have a great time, did we, on the wave swinger? Because they've got the water jets on, even though it's now rain.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a fan of, Cod.
Nope.
Not a fan of at all. And though before anyone says anything, we didn't touch anything. We didn't touch anything in there. So yeah, not really a fan of that. You got quite wet. I've got quite wet. Just no need. No need. It's about 12 degrees. Peeing down with rain. But there we go. Never mind. Spyders. Spyders, Cody. Yep. Are you looking forward to this?
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to it. I love a new maze. I love a new maze, especially at kind of a place I visit loads. And Chessington really fits that bill. Queue times aren't too bad today, actually. Wait times, only 15 minutes for Cobra, 15 minutes for Vampire. Fury had gone down to 20 minutes. Just seemed the Rattlesnake had the longest queue, and that's probably going to extend, and Fury probably will as well if this rain continues, because they'll only half load it. But we're going to go and head over to the Spyders queue. 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes loaned. Can't wait. That's new. I don't remember that Waffle House being like that. I remember it being slightly different. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a long year, people. It's been a long year. But yeah, look, just constantly on. Not fitting the love, but a lot of water coming around. We are heading in to the Spyders queue. So we have just been in Spyders, the new Chesterton Maze for 2019. Replacing Curse of the Lost Tomb, which actually we really like. We really like Curse of the Lost Tomb. So what happens is you kind of queue as normal. You get a nice little story that you're part of the SAS squad that are going in to basically eliminate the arachnids, which are the spiders, effectively the spiders. You kind of got to go through and kind of get to the big one at the end. Now, as you go through, you pick up key phrases. You pick up a line to make a kind of more of a paragraph or even a sentence, which you revise at the end to make sure your safety is key. It's a little bit confusing because, I mean, there's no way that any of us were going to remember that code. No way. And at the end, coincidentally, they did just recite it to us. But you go into the first room, they kind of explain who they are and what they're about. She's got some legs out, bits and pieces. You then go in and she tells you the first phrase. The first phrase, Kurt here, got put in a chair.
Yeah.
Kurt got put in a chair. He tried to read the phrase back, but the phrase was backwards, so we couldn't do it. From that room, we went into.
She said something was paid.
Yeah. We went into another room, didn't we?
And
Cody had to put his hand down the toilet. So Cody had to put his hand down the toilet to try and find the spider, and then he put his hand in the bath. The guy then put this plastic spider on his back and asked Cody to help him get it into a pot, at which point you just...
Kicked it.
He just kicked it into the pot. It was really,
and he had a look at the bar.
really engaging, really engaging. From there we went through to see, what was his name? It reminded me of Dobby, but it wasn't.
It was something like that.
It was something like Dobby. It's got a big guy spider. And he kind of told you that, you know, he knew you were and everything like that. And he kind of, you know, gave you a little bit more of a story about it before you hit the elevator. And the elevator then simulates you going down. Simulates you going down before you go into the final scene with the phrase. So from that one in there, you've got a few barrels on the wall. So once you're in there, she gives you the final phrase to kind of turn the UV light on, and it's on the wall. So from there, Cody was sent through some webbing on the wall, and we kind of went round the other way as well, and we ended up in the same place. From there, we went over a bridge, nice and red, into the final scene. The final scene had one of the SAS guys kind of wrapped in web, asking us to help him out, and it had the big spider, the mother spider, as well at the end. She said the SAS come in and effectively they just squash all the spiders, which is really unfair and really unjustified. To that point, she then wraps him in a web ready to eat, which was a little bit confusing. It was a little bit confusing, to be honest with you. And then there's a burst of smoke and you leave. She recites the phrase for you, so you didn't actually need to remember anything on the way through. And quite honestly, we've walked out not really knowing what we've just done.
And it was really light in the night.
Yeah, so it's put together to a point where it's really light, you know, it's not closed properly. Where Curse of the Lost Tomb was beautiful, beautiful sets, really enclosed, really dark. It's just not like that in there, you know, it's like cut corners on the edges. There's no real spiders in there. There's not really a lot of fake spiders in there. There's quite a lot of webs around. Nothing really, you know, comes out. There's no real jump scares. Yeah, you know, I have to say, I'm very disappointed with it. I think Curse of the Lost Tomb was a massive step up for the park in theming and story and everything like that, and that just wasn't. We waited quite a long time, even though there was only 2 people in front of us. Yeah, the story just wasn't there. Really disappointed, but we are going to go and try Creepy Caves Unearthed, which is free this year. I'm really hoping they haven't toned it down a bit, because Cody's going in.
Yeah.
Cody's going in, and he's going to love it.
Yeah?
Did that scare you?
No, not me.
No, it didn't. So, we've just been in Creepy Caves Unearthed. As we said, it's free this year. Free! 10-minute wait? Yeah, 10-minute wait. Love it. Absolutely love it. It hasn't been toned down at all. It was still quite intense. It's nice and dark in there. We've got some strobe lights. We've got some jump scares. We've got a bit of everything in there. So those that haven't been in there, you start with kind of the story about what they're trying to do. You know, the plants and everything have kind of taken over, and the doctor in there monitoring this really dangerous plant. He's been taken over, and then you're kind of sent through to exit the way out and see some of the inhabits. And yeah, it is really, you know, quite intense, to be fair. I can understand why they make it 10 plus. We didn't see anyone run out yet, but you went in.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Not the scariest thing.
Not the scariest thing.
He was lent on the acrylic at the start.
Yeah, so at the start, when you're looking at the plant, the actual guy comes from behind you, which you didn't realise, did you?
No, I was leaning on the wall.
So he was leaning on the wall when the guy started thumping on the wall, which was hilarious. His face was hilarious. You enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like it?
They made a lot of jumps. Yeah.
No, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. It hasn't been toned down. It's got quite a short queue today. We've got in there. It's a lovely story, and you know, I think after going in Spyders, that's really kind of made up for it.
It's a lot darker.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot darker in there because obviously you're in a nice cave area. They're not trying to block out the light. Flows really nicely. Possibly 1 or 2 less actors. The strobe light room, which they have in the middle, usually has an actor in. Didn't have one in this time, which was a bit of a shame. But you know, it's very difficult to tell. It's not the busiest of days today when they're going to include things like that. But really enjoyed that. That was a great maze, and I'm not ruling out going in it again, as it's free. Not ruling out going in again. But we are heading over here now because we want to go and see the Halloween show.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was great last year, and I think that's where we're going to head. Bye safari riders. I bet they rehouse these somewhere.
I will.
Bearing in mind that's going to be a safari tour, I bet these animals here, I bet they appear in the Toadie's safari tour. These will be the cutouts. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. Head over to the live show. Pumpkins. So we've actually done a couple of things since we were last with you because the rain was coming down. I didn't want to get everything wet. What do we do, Kurt? No, we did a live show first. So first, we did Howloween live. Now then, we have a bit of a split opinion on Howloween live because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. Granted, the singing wasn't quite as good as last year, but I thought it was brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. So I really, really enjoyed Howloween live. I thought it was cracking. It wasn't the same choice of music from last year, which I was a bit afraid it would be. Only finishing with the Heads Will Roll thriller ending, which is commonly used. So, but other than that, it's a really, really bold choice of music. Not kind of your usual dancing music, but very dark, very sinister. And yeah, I thought the dancing was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Bearing in mind it's only really their sort of fourth show, as we're at the beginning of Howloween now. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Singing was a little bit off key at points, wasn't as clear as last year, but I really enjoyed it. But you didn't really, did you? He didn't really enjoy it.
At the start, I was like, oh, it's not the same song. I thought, oh, well, although the songs are bad, the dancing's quite in time, and then as it went on, the dancing got worse. It wasn't in time. Some of them
He wasn't a fan.
Effortless.
You weren't a fan, were you?
No.
He wasn't a fan of it. He liked the end bit, which is good. But he's not really...
There's one in the middle.
He wasn't
There was
really
like
a
10
fan of it.
And the guy's singing was, oh my god. When he tried to do high pitch, my ears were like bleeding.
Might be a bit harsh. Might be a bit harsh. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. We then went down to Trick or Treat Wood. Now, we definitely didn't do Trick or Treat Wood last year, did we? Because the route had clearly changed. Last time we went in one way and out the other, whereas now you go in one and come out the other. And beforehand there was a trick or treat, and now there's not a trick or treat. You just go through and you kind of experience it all. So you go in and you meet the various characters of the woods. Xander, I think his name was. We met Xander, and we then meet the fawn, and we then meet kind of the bushes and things like that. And it's a really entertaining story. And it was really engaging. Enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah, it was actually funny and...
Yeah, it was really good. Really, really enjoyed it.
You got called an ogre a few times.
I got called an ogre a few times. Kurt got called smelly. Both are pretty accurate, to be honest with you. Whoa. So, yeah, but it's really good. Really, really good. And probably my shock, actually, of the event. You know, after Spyders earlier, and we done Creepy Caves, which we did go back in. We'll come back to Creepy Caves in a minute. Yeah, that was a real surprise. And we got some nerds at the end. Last time we went there, we ended up with this stupid cereal bar, which everyone threw in the bin. Oh, it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Whereas this time we didn't. Cody's over there looking at the capybaras, just in case anyone's wondering. He's still alive. We haven't killed him off yet. So no, I was really, really impressed with Trick or Treat Wood. And, you know, I think the only downside is the throughput. Generally, throughout the park, it's awful. The throughput on Spyders was awful. You know, where they do the storytelling ones, it does suck up quite a lot of time. But in saying that, there's not many people queuing for it today, so maybe they can get away with it. We waited probably about 25 minutes to Trick or Treat Wood. I was only halfway down the fencing. You know, had we been in the extended bit by the end, we probably would have looked in a 60-minute queue and maybe would have felt slightly different for it. But, you know, actors in there were absolutely superb. And the actors in Spyders were absolutely superb as well. And then we've done some more rides, haven't we?
Yep.
What do we do?
Gruffalo?
We just did Gruffalo. Kurt didn't do Gruffalo earlier, so we just did Gruffalo. Went down Scorpion Express, did down Scorpion Express, and we do have Vampire to do shortly. Yes. So we are going to go back on Vampire shortly, and we'll take you into a spin on the station. And then yeah, we're kind of going to see if we can find any more Halloween decoration. I still think it's a bit sparse, but odd bits and pieces picking up places. But yeah, we'll take you onto the Vampire, not onto the Vampire, sorry. And then I think we'll sum up.
Yeah.
Favourite so far?
Creepy Caves.
I think my favourite's Trick or Treat Woods. How worrying is that?
That's bad. It was good though. It was really good.
It was good. So, Vampire, Kurt, is...
There's literally no queue.
There's literally no queue. It's walk-on.
There's not anyone.
Vampire is walk-on.
How many people
On a Sunday, on Halloween.
Okay.
I mean, I say walk-on, there's going to be people in the queue here. And there are a few.
But there was no one outside.
There's no one queuing outside at all. So we're just soaking a bit of the music, shall we? A bit of the atmosphere. Yeah. No one can. So this is the closest we've actually been able to get to Black Buccaneer this year, because this has all been closed off. You can tell by the by the path, not really been used much. And yeah, here it sits. Here it sits. Some restraints up, some restraints down, a bit of scaffolding. You know, I guess the boat is obviously probably worth more than the supports in terms of keeping it in good condition. And you can see where it's been taken apart. Will it be back next year? I really hope it is. I really hope it is. You know, it's kind of made to fit in this little hole. So, you know, I want to see it back next year. I really, really do. And, you know, it's a great filler ride. It's a bit of a shame they haven't covered it up, actually, because you can see it's lost a lot of colour on the seats. Really has lost a lot of colour on the seats. And, you know, they spent so much money on this as well, getting it repainted and everything. So, fingers crossed. You know, they've got to stop, Merlin have got to stop closing rides and refurbish them or replace them. You know, I'm pleased they're replacing Ramesses. It needs it. You know, the times we have walked past it today, it's been broken down, stuck in the air. However much I'd rather they replaced it with a new one, because again, that was a custom-built pit, pit for it. You know, at least they're replacing it. At least they're replacing it. Fingers crossed next year. But yeah, poor old Black Buccaneer. So we've just done Walk on Vampire. We've collected Cody. Kurt's gone back on Vampire again. I don't blame him, there's no queue. He may as well go back on it. It's a bit of a shame, Cody, obviously. Yeah. Bit of a shame you got concussion because the sun's coming out as well. It's about 4:30 now, so we have been here all day. The park is open till 7 o'clock. We're not going to stay till 7 o'clock. It's not going to mean rides in the dark today because it's not dark at 7 o'clock. I prefer the park was open till 8 o'clock, but if we want rides in the dark, realistically, we're going to have to wait for the end of the month and come back because this is obviously opening weekend for Howloween. We went back in Creepy Caves, Kurt and I. Cody wasn't. He chickened. But Kurt and I went back in Creepy Caves. I have to say, you know, the storyline actually hasn't changed. So I like the fact that this wonderful plant is infecting people. I like that. It's a lovely story. It's not something I've seen anywhere else in any of the, you know, Halloween mazes I've been in. It's quite fresh still, quite fresh in the way they've done it. And, you know, they've really used the fact that most people know that was an insect house to incorporate that kind of thing into it. The scenes are lovely, it's pitch black in there. It's just not enough, actors. I think first time we had a fairly good run through and we had a, you know, fairly big group of us that are quite scared. Kurt and I pretty much walked through it by ourselves and it's just not enough. There's not enough continuous scares once you leave the opening scene. I love the opening scene. I love the way that's done. I think most people know that he's gonna bang the window from behind you. Cody didn't, granted, but I think most people know that. And then once you get let into the maze, you know, it needs to be a real quick flowing, you know, actor-filled, kind of obstacle-filled area. I don't think it quite is. I think maybe on the second time round, when it just didn't seem like there were many people there, that someone coming up that you can see, because it's quite a wide gap. You know, I'd probably say it's as wide as this gap here, which for a scare maze, arguably, it's too big. It's too big. We could see everyone, and then when you get into the strobe light section, which has always been renowned to be like the real, you know, depth section, there's no one in there. No one in there at all. So the only time they could jump out on you and you wouldn't see them, there's no one there. You kind of windle your way through the maze, you see people on the floor, they kind of go rah in your face. And I think the scare maze has evolved slightly. You know, the last few years when you go around and you see what, you know, Tully's are producing, Scream Park, Scream Fest are producing, it's just a little bit dated on the scare front. Whether or not they toned it down because it's free, they are still recommending at the gate twice when you enter and then again when you enter that it is for only over 10s. But you know, those that have been watching the channel know that this man, this boy, he has been bricking it all year about going in Creepy Caves and he's come out and said, wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad. And I have to say, although it's good and I do like it, I really do like it, it wasn't as bad as what I hoped it would be. You know, the first year I went in it, it compared to anything we saw at Fort Park. And you know, Fort Park's ones, to their credit, they're good. They are good. They're not the best, but they are good. Say that this year, they've really pulled it out this year. If you haven't gone, check out the vlog, make sure you get to Fort Park. They've definitely pulled it out this year. It just feels like it needs a little bit more. And I think after Spyders as well, Spyders was really disappointing. I think on reflection, when I've looked at it, and I thought there's a lot of light bleed, it feels like it's been put together properly. You know, we had a chat about it afterwards. You can hear what's going on in the next room. And although you could hear little bits from Curse of the Lost Tomb, you know, between room and room, it did feel like you were more walking around something rather than going in a circle, much like in a room like that one is. Whereas in Spyders, you can really hear every single scene from the next one. And it really ruined it. It really ruined it. I think the story was a bit weak. I think the scenery was okay, actually. It was quite nice, but I think their costumes were a bit weak. You know, they were quite good. I don't want to take anything away from the actors and the actresses. They've done a fantastic job at kind of bringing you into the story and things. I just don't think there's enough there. Actually, yeah, a little bit disappointed with it. It's nowhere near as good as Curse of the Lost Tomb. Nowhere near as good. The story isn't as good. It's not as creepy. It's not as scary. And arguably, Creepy Caves isn't as scary either. Now, I would like to try the extreme version of Creepy Caves, and I'm hoping I will get back to do that. But it is £10 to have an After Dark version. I'll be really interested to see what they do. I'm assuming actors from other areas would go in there, and it would be kind of a mass one on that. So I'm really interested in seeing that, but I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do it. So yeah, Chessington Howloween on the whole. Well, Spyders, it's a massive letdown. I'm really sorry, it's a massive letdown. I can't. If it's got a long queue, don't bother queuing for it. I'm really sorry, don't bother queuing for it. You know, the kids weren't that entertained coming out of it, and I didn't find it particularly great with the light bleed. I hate that. You shouldn't have to go in a maze like that at night time. You know, the park's not open when it's dark this weekend, so you need to get in it when it's daylight.
You can see light through the exit doors.
You could. And yeah, of course, at the end, the final scene, they left the exit doors open, so it just ruined it. It just ruined it. I'm really sorry, it ruined it. I know it might still be bedding in, and they have definitely built it quickly because, you know, when we came for our last update, that was all still a restaurant. I just think it's just been done too quickly. Too quickly, no thought about blacking things out. You know, they should be able to walk around there and go, there's light bleeding in there, there's light bleeding in there, and they just haven't. It's a real shame they haven't done that. We've then gone to Creepy Caves. Creepy Caves is still really, really good. I just think it needs some tweaks. It needs some tweaks to stay relevant, or it's going to become a bit stale. It's as simple as that. It's going to become a bit stale.
More characters.
Some more characters, 100%. We've then watched the Halloween show. Now, I love the Halloween show. I thought it was brilliant. I thought the song choice was brave. I thought it was very different. It was quite creepy. It was quite spooky. I thought the dancing was really good, even though the singing at points was off-key. Probably wasn't quite as good as last year's, but I have a feeling that will get better, and it's still quite interactive. And it's live. Let's not forget, most of these parks don't do live shows. Although we praised Amity High, the one there, you know, it wasn't live, they were just dancing to music. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. You, Everett?
Wasn't it as good as last time?
No, he wasn't, and Kurt's not quite on there either on what it was from last year, but I still think it was really, really good and a solid show. Definitely worth 15 minutes of your time. Showing 4 times today, 1:15, 2:15, 5:15 and 6:15. Mazes, by the way, open at 12 o'clock. We've then gone down to Trick or Treat Wood, and that undoubtedly was the highlight of the day for me. I thought we had gone in it last year, but I look back and we missed it last year because it was awful the year before. But it is definitely vastly improved. I think some of the changes probably came last year.
And we didn't get disgusting bars.
We didn't get disgusting bars, no, that's his main thing, him not getting disgusting bars. But it's definitely vastly improved because the one route is massive, it's brilliant. You know, it's got lovely storytelling between hand as well. It's got great characters. You know, if you wanted to be interactive, you could be. If you weren't, they weren't belittling you like they did the year before. You know, I got belittled a few times for not wanting to hop up and down on one leg when I had a bad back. And it was just like, it really put me off the maze. But this time, it was brilliant. They were really, really good and really, you know, interactive with everyone, the little ones as well in their costumes. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And we got some nerds at the end, some actual sweets for Trick or Treat Wood. Bearing in mind it's Halloween. I'm sorry, you can't always give away this healthy stuff. So that was brilliant. The only thing I'd say about all the mazes is the throughput is generally terrible. Because there's quite a lot of story, particularly Creepy Caves has got quite a big opening, the throughput is terrible. So, you know, when it gets to Halloween week, and you know, it's not raining and it's light weather like this with the sun out like it is now, I don't know how that's going to cope. I really don't. And the same with Spyders. It's got a lot of scenes going on. I'm not sure how it's going to cope. And we know Trick or Treat Wood already is quite difficult on the throughput. So where on Fort Park you might enter, get a story for 30, 45 seconds, be off into the maze and off you go. All these rely on further point stories down the line. And I think throughput's going to become a real issue for them later on in the event. However, you know, if you're coming to the park and you're a bit worried and you want to get on rides and things, you know, your priority for me is Creepy Caves. Your second priority is Trick or Treat Wood, Halloween show, and then if you've got time, do the Spyders. I know Spyders is new, but do it if you've got time. Don't queue a long time for it. I'm really, really sorry, don't queue a long time for it. But we've had a cracking day, haven't we?
Yeah.
He's had less of a cracking day, bless him. On the day where the park's really quiet and everything's nearly walk on, poor old Cody, he can't go on anything. But it's his own fault.
Yeah.
You do a bicycle kick in football and you miss and land on your head and knock yourself unconscious. No roller coasters.
Yes.
But fingers crossed, he'll be back for Christmas and we'll do some Christmas Vampire, because Vampire's open for Christmas. Don't forget that. We're gonna have a little wrap up. We'll see if we can take some footage on the way out, but that is Halloween in a nutshell. The theming is hit and miss. There are some really nice bits around the park. Definitely a focus on the spiders, which is fine because obviously we had the spider maze, but no real pumpkins. Really disappointed there's no real pumpkins because I like seeing those. And if you go down Black Buccaneer, look, you can get yourself a free ball. I wonder if someone's thrown that in or whether that's fallen from a stall, but poor thing, just sitting there. We need to go and collect Kurt. Should we go and collect Kurt?
Yeah.
We'll go and collect Kurt, and I think we might see if we've got any more rides to do, and then, yeah, head on out. So that's Howloween for Chessington 2019. As we just concluded, we didn't bother going on any more rides, to be honest with you. You know, we're pretty much rided out where it's been walking all day. It was a good event. It was good. It wasn't the best they've done. It's certainly not the worst they've done either. I can think of worse ones back in the mid-2000s, but you know, Spyders, I didn't like it. I'm sorry, I just didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it at all. Creepy Caves was good. Second run round, as I said, Kurt and I kind of thought it needed more. It just needed a bit more. Trick or Treat Wood, the real surprise. Really loved Trick or Treat Wood, and we're a bit split over the show. We're a bit split over the show. I thought it was really good. Others too, not so much. So yeah, you know, thanks for joining us today from Chessington World Adventures. We don't really have a lot more to add to it, to be honest. You know, we know there's a lot of development coming around the Toadie's Crazy Cars area, potential mini log flume, and drop tower, possibly all for next year, but we don't know. We don't know 100% exactly when that's going to be hitting. We know that Ramesses is going at the end of the year, so I don't know. Do they want to leave it empty? Do they want to have a bad year, bearing in mind that Hortons Park are obviously going to be opening a whole new area next year? I think Chessington need to pull it out of the bag, and I don't think it's that thrilling, their plans, but if they execute them all and they get all the new rides in and they get it looking nice and they can fix some of the rides they've got, including Black Buccaneer, you know, Vampire Station, Tomb Blaster, perhaps they can do some good advertising on and pull it out the bag. But from UK theme parks, my name's Adam, we'll see you next time.